All right, I think we are all live. It's 2 p.m. Finland, and we are back. So looks like at least some people found it back here after yesterday. So hopefully it wasn't too intensive and confusing the first day. So I hope that more people are coming in. So we would be able to form at least a couple of groups here. Now we have 5 people plus me, and I know that my colleague Janika will be leaving at some point. But anyways, let's get going. So my name is Santeri Koivisto, as I hope that most of you know from yesterday, and I work at the Satakunta University of Applied Sciences. So today's agenda is basically starting from a problem statement that I promised for you to have ready for today. And then after that, we'll do step-by-step sort of a mini hack and all the way to a point where you will be able to present your ideas. Now, it looks like there are not that many of us. So what we might do at the beginning is that we'll just take a table and just get introduced, say hello, like how's the weather. I can show that the weather in Finland is a wonderful snowy -10 at this moment, although my view from my office window is not the most exciting one, but anyways. So now one thing to do when you go into the table and you meet and greet, one of you set up the Flinga. So go to, let me type it for you, flinga.fi, and one of you should have the whiteboard ready, because that's what we're going to be focusing on using today. Then after a while, just like a few minutes, I will post a warm-up activity for you. And the warm-up activity today will be pretty straightforward. It's basically I give you a statement like my perfect Saturday, and you are supposed to find a picture online within like 1 minute and show the picture to the others in the group. You can do that by showing your phone, or you can just post a link, whatever makes most sense. So now the first thing, get a seat, say hello. One of you set up the Flinga in the team, and share the link to others. And then after that, I will start posting a couple of questions, a couple of warm-up questions, and then go to Google and find those pictures that would best represent the statement that I give to you. So group, say hello, set up Flinga, and then after a few minutes, wait for those statements and start finding pictures. All right, let's start with that. And please take a seat. By clicking the table, you can take a seat. And as always, there is the chat on the right-hand side. Maybe it's this way or this way for you. There's a chat, so click that and we can chat at any moment. All right, let's get it going from here. All right, since there are new people coming in, just let me repeat the directions. So take a seat in tables 1 and 2. So all of you can split to 1 and 2, and then introduce yourself, set up the flinga.fi, and then I'll start posting those questions. So take a seat. By clicking the table, you can take a seat. All right. All right. Hope you had a few laughters at the team and got to know each other a bit. So let's move on. Let me get that screen on the other side, and then I'll share my screen. Looks like both of you already posted your Flinga board, so that helps me a lot just to follow like what you guys are doing. And now let me take a quick look at yesterday, and then we move on to today's work. Now, yesterday we were talking about the whole structure of hackathons. We were talking about the design process. We started sort of emphasizing this set of pictures and defining problems from there. And then today's agenda was to start where we quite typically start with students when it comes to hackathons and soft skills training. We start from the brainstorming and the ideate phase. Now, so this is where we are going to start today. Now, we did a bit of a warm up there. Hopefully, it was fun. Of course, warm ups are pretty hard because when we are not in the same space. But I hope that was cool. And here's a quick link that I want to share to you. I'll just post it on the chat. It's just like a random resource that I found from online. This is like a spinning wheel. Actually, let me open that for you. I just want to share this quick because this is actually a really, really great resource that I've been using in my class, like a warm-up game randomizer. So you can click, it comes up with something silly, and then it gives like all kinds of warm-up activities here that work remote and they work live. So really fun thing. So if you are, for example, you are tackling something new, you are supposed to present something, you are supposed to work together in whatever format, these type of warm-ups are just great to get people a bit relaxed and start working. Especially, these remote times, it's sometimes hard to open our mouth when it comes to remote groups and, group work online. So really, really useful tool just for you. For your information, use it or don't use it, but I found it really, really useful. Now, today we are starting from a ready-made problem statement. So I've already put this problem statement up for you for a link. I'll post the link, but now I'll go through the problem statement with you. This is actually from a real hackathon we did last time in November. This came from one automation company. So this is an actual challenge that they are trying to solve. And they came to our students and, they posted this. And I just find this very fascinating. And I think this is a great example of a great problem statement. This doesn't provide that much context or story behind what's here. But at the same time, it does connect to us because it's such a familiar topic to all of us. So the challenge was to design a package that adapts to different forms and sizes and which can be used by machines, meaning automation, robots, logistics, to create a container and pack the goods. So all of this is through the Imgur link that I just posted to you, but I just want to go through this as well together. Now, this is sort of your task is to design a package. So to make it not that easy, there is plenty of criteria that it needs to meet. So of course, the packaged goods are solid, but they can go from earring to a fridge to water jet. So very small to very big. It cannot be plastic. The package needs to sustain normal logistics handling, meaning grabbing by humans, grabbing by robots, things like this. The package needs to offer some level of protection from small bumps, maybe a bit of fall damage, things like this. An info sticker, meaning the stamp that, hey, where this package is going, needs to be able to be put on the packaging. It needs to be safe material, so people don't get hurt, scratched, or a poison or anything like that, anything toxic. So it needs to be safe to handle. And of course, storing it can't require like maybe hyper cold or some sanitized environments. So just a normal logistic warehouse needs to be sufficient place to store, reasonably dry and away from sunlight. And it needs to just be able to sustain typical weather conditions like humidity, a bit of light rain, sunlight, things like this. So this is the criteria. And this is their job is to design a package in those teams that you are now in. Now I think comes the very critical piece of starting the design and using the design process, and it's the brainstorming part. Now, I already mentioned last time, like yesterday, that facilitation with with hackathons and design processes in general is key. And now I think one of the pitfalls that so many people go into is that when they start brainstorming, they come up with one idea and they just fell in love with their own idea and then they can't just let it go. And that's the only thing that they can focus. So now, my first challenge to you for the next 10 minutes, you have the Flinga board, both teams. Thank you for, let me check. Thank you for Jari for group 1 who posted Flinga, and then Eliana from group 2 that posted your Flinga board. So now both of the teams go to your respected Flinga boards, and what you are supposed to be doing the next 10 minutes is to click the link where the problem statement is, read the problem statement one more time, and just start emptying your head out of all kinds of random ideas. Do not start thinking if something is viable or if it's not viable. Just type in everything with a couple words that comes to your mind, create like new ideas to Flinga. And then our target is to have this cloud of different types, some silly, some less silly ideas, that then next thing is that we start picking up what's the best idea from those. So now only focus on emptying your head. You don't even need to talk with your team members, just empty your head. If you run out of ideas, maybe look around, go to Google, whatever. You have 10 minutes time, go to Flinga, open the problem statement link, and start smashing down ideas. And do not start thinking those ideas through. Just keep on spamming. Okay, 10 minutes. I put my timer going. 10 minutes and we'll come back here. All right? And chat is there. If there's any questions, you don't know what to do, just send me a chat or come to the Old Crumblers table. Okay, good. 10 minutes. Good luck. All right, time's up. Now, looking at your Flinga boards, a lot of good stuff, a lot of great stuff. So great, a perfect start for our session. Now, let me share once more my screen. So now I think this went really well. So we can all learn from me pushing you. Saying it multiple times that the only thing is to focus on coming up with ideas, and not get too stuck with the best ones just yet. Because I'm sure that it's easy to get sidetracked, but I think this was a good example of you being able to really focus for 10 minutes. I have a lot of great ideas. I think the Flinga boards are a great evidence for a lot of good ideas, a lot of doable, executable ideas for this. Now, next step is, of course, to pick the best one and start conceptualization or prototyping from that. Now, this time we are not going into development or doing anything too fancy out of this. And obviously, when we are talking about soft skills and developing, critical thinking, problem solving, sort of creativity, collaboration, like these teams, I think this overall creating a concept is sufficient, and we don't need to go to design sprints or Scrum or Agile sort of facilitation just yet, if we are just doing this one day. But now, even with the conceptualization and prototyping, I think that the coaches are a very good resource. We discussed coaches yesterday a bit, that how we like to do it is that, let's say if there are 4 challenge tracks, of course we are now focusing on only one challenge, but maybe there is a hackathon with 4 themes with 4 different challenges and 100 people hacking 25 students hacking one challenge. Maybe those students are split into 4 groups, 5 groups, and then there would be mentors that would have designated groups from each one, and they would be visiting all the groups. And what we like to do is that we like to put the coaches also competing against each other and pushing them as well to push their teams to do better. So I think it's all adds up for the excitement. But now for the coaches, I think that when it comes to conceptualization at the very beginning, sort of beginner level, now we are professionals here, so I'm sure that you can work here pretty autonomously and all that without much help. But I would say that there are 2 maybe opposite or maybe alternative routes to start building a concept. Now, one thing is that maybe there is a mind map. So you make the decision what is the best one. You start listing the attributes that it needs. You start listing the challenges, and then you start listing, the criteria that you need to meet. Those criteria are in the problem statement. And then you start, figuring out and trying to answer all of those. Maybe it turns into a mind map. Maybe it turns into some sort of a listing, things like that. But step by step, it turns into it's sort of a consensus of how the concept will look like. So maybe more like a picking up a challenge, then starting, listing what are needed, smaller and smaller pieces. The big themes first, and then step by step smaller. Maybe flipping this around would be sort of a reverse engineering. Maybe we look into something that already exists and we start breaking it down and seeing like what the different pieces are. What are the pieces currently of a successful logistics packaging, what is used today? What attributes that it has? Are there something that we could replace something? And so on. So basically, taking something that already exists and breaking it down to understand it, splitting it into pieces, and looking into individual challenges, things that we can maybe change. So maybe this is sort of the opposite route, and then the mind map is sort of building up from ground or breaking something into pieces. You can experiment with both strategies if you wish, but I'm sure that since many of you already have a lot of experience about work life, designing, hacking, whatever, a more free flow collaboration might work for you just as well. But now, keeping this mind mapping, ground up conceptualization, and then also breaking into pieces through a reverse engineering, keeping those two sort of individual approaches in mind, maybe that helps you to maybe work with some of your students and giving those opposite or maybe alternative routes as examples how they could approach a big challenge like this one that has many aspects and many criteria, and how to start somehow in a structured manner break it down into digestible pieces. But now, your task next is to find the best idea, what you think is the most executable out of the ones you came up with, and then start conceptualizing the idea, either through building a mind map out of it, looking into the problem statement, looking into the criteria that you have, and then answering those specific questions in there. So now for this, let's reserve about 20 minutes. I don't know if it's much or is it too much or is it too little? It's a small amount of time, but I trust you can squeeze it through. After that, we will be moving into presenting these ideas and how to do that. So now you have 20 minutes in order to start hacking together a concept out of your best idea. And then I hope you use Flinga or some other format to collect the ideas, and so that would help us to then make a presentation out of those. Now, once more, there is the chat available. So if you have any questions, please send me a note. And I will be staying at the Old Crumblers table where you can at any moment find me. So find the best idea, start hacking a concept out of the best idea. All right. Good luck.